Hello, and welcome to True Crime and the Court of Public Opinion, where we don't just break the news, we break the illusion. I'm your host, Alexis Knight, and today you've stepped into the one courtroom that still deals in truth. Not press releases, not paid influencers, not algorithm-approved spin. Just facts, fallout, and a voice that won't be bought. Here's how it works around here. Every Monday and Friday, we bring you Headline Lies, a raw, unfiltered breakdown of some of the latest, most misleading headlines, viral manipulations, and twisted narratives. We unpack what the headline told you and what it wanted you to believe and what actually happened. This isn't fact-checking light, guys. This is pulling back the curtain and showing you who's shaping perception and why. Because here's the truth. Media no longer informs. It performs. It crafts a show, sells a story, and scripts a version of reality you're supposed to follow without question. But Alexis Knight doesn't follow. We investigate. We ask, who benefits from this story being told this way? What's missing between the lines? And what damage is being done in the name of the narrative? That's why you're here, because you've noticed the cracks in the headlines, because you're tired of being lied to with a straight face, and because someone had to say it first. The headlines are the crime, and here at True Crime and the Court of Public Opinion, we prosecute. So today, here on this Friday edition of Headline Lies, we're going deep, not just on the stories you saw, but the stories you were supposed to believe. And trust me, you were supposed to believe every single one. I've got 8 stories for you here, 8 headlines, 8 illusions, 8 media performances ready for cross-examination. Let's get into this. And our first headline up today: Google releases Veo 3, a powerful new AI tool for creators. That's what the headline said when Google dropped Veo 3, its latest AI video generator that turns a single sentence into 1080 footage with camera angles, lighting effects, and emotional realism. But what they didn't say in that headline, the part that should have made the front page, is this: Veo 3 is not just powerful, and it's not just for fun. It's very dangerous. And it may have just ended the era of seeing is believing. Let's unpack what they sold you and what they didn't. Exhibit A, the tech. Now, on paper, Veo 3 is very impressive. Give it a natural language prompt, like, for instance, a protest breaks out in downtown Chicago, smoke fills the air, people scatter. And AI will deliver it. Veo 3 will give you what you ask for, a full-blown video, complete with motion blur, shaky cam, and facial emotion. No actors needed, no cameras needed for that matter, and no location. The headline made it sound like a gift to filmmakers. What it really is, it's a propaganda machine preloaded with realism, designed for virality, and built to bypass your fact-checking brain. Exhibit B, what does your brain do with video? Well, here is why Veo 3 is a problem. Most people still believe what they see right on screen. Do you? I mean, especially video. Our brains are hardwired to trust moving images. It's how we have survived threats in the wild. It's why we emotionally react to footage, even when we know it might be fake. It's part of what we are, and that is exactly what Veo 3 exploits. It doesn't just make fakes, it makes memory-grade lies. Footage you're not going to forget, even after it is debunked, even after you're told it's a lie. You're going to think it's true. The entire public, okay, not trained to spot digital forgery with shadows and pixels. Are you? Do you think you can spot a fake video? Because I guarantee you've probably seen one today, if not many. We react to things, and then we repost things, and we believe them very much. On to Exhibit C, all the chaos. In just the first week after VO3's announcement, AI-generated videos began circulating of different things, like fake natural disasters, war scenes that were never filmed, and, quote, leaked, end quote, political events that, guess what, never even happened. There's no watermark required on AI stuff. There's no context needed. And literally, it's just the Wild West. No one's responsible. No one's accountable. Anything goes. It's just content that looks real. And that's all the internet ever really needed, I guess, because profit's the game, clicks how you do it, and your emotions are how everyone's making money off of you. I mean, imagine a clip showing a fake school shooting, or a politician taking a bribe, or an army marching into a city that's perfectly calm in real life. By the time it's proven false, the lie's already won. It's already worn you out with your reaction. You've spread it to everyone you know. Lies, 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 confusing the people. You think you can look away, but just imagine what this is going to do when this happens to the masses. What I know won't be what you know. What you know won't be what your neighbor knows. And we'll all be fighting for what is true. And then there's this, Exhibit D, the legal fallout. Let's take this into the courtroom. A VO-generated video gets passed off as security footage. The defense team claims, no, that is AI. But the prosecution insists, no, this is real. And then suddenly every single piece of video evidence, or really any kind of picture or video in the case, becomes on trial. Because if AI can fake it, how do you prove it's real? Who are you going to ask? What are you going to do? The justice system is not ready for this. The public is definitely not ready for this. But VO3 is out there right now being tested and played with, shared and scaled. And the burden of proof, well, it's just shifted from the accused to the viewer, didn't it? Who's profiting from all of this? Right? Exhibit E. Who are they? The tech press celebrated VO3 like it was the second coming of Final Cut Pro or something, right? But make no mistake, Google did not build this for art. They built it for power and profit. Think to yourself what Google is. This is, and the whole world out there, right? It's a content arms race. Whoever can flood the internet with the most believable visuals is the winner. And while the world scrambles to adapt to generative chaos, the people on top, they're loving every minute of it. They're watching you all scramble and run around and click and get confused and react. And they are monetizing every single thing you do. They're licensing access to trusted users. Have you heard that? If you heard of this at all, that's what they're saying, while pretending there's a filter system. But deepfakes, they don't need mass release. They just need a head start. This kind of stuff, guys, it's changing how everything rolls out. The customer is not right anymore. Nobody cares. So here at the end of the day is what the headline told you. Google releases a tool for creators. But really what it really should have said is that Google just made it impossible to ever trust video again. And if you don't think it's happening, you're going to see it in what the videos you start watching. Believe me, you'll have no idea. This is not a tool. This becomes a turning point in human communication, one where truth becomes optional, really, and fiction. It's in HD and it's everywhere. Welcome to the new media war, my friends, where the crime is the headline and the evidence, it's all synthetic. Yep, you're listening to Alexis Knight and Headline Lies for a reason. We're being flooded, guys. Flooded, and now with fake videos. Next up, check out this headline. Most popular TikTok mental health videos are misinformation, study finds. TikTok wants you to believe it's where young people go to express themselves, right? To vent, to connect, to heal. But a new study, it says otherwise. According to researchers at the University of North Carolina, over half of the top 100 TikTok videos under the hashtag mental health tips were false or misleading. Let me say that again. The videos getting the most views, the ones getting reposted and quoted and stitched into reaction clips, they're all wrong. Not just not helpful, wrong. And when we're dealing with mental health, that makes it dangerous. So what this headline is telling us is about all the other headlines out there that are so dangerous, especially to our young people watching TikTok all day. This is not about self-expression. It's about synthetic authority, viral lies, and how TikTok has become the new therapist with no qualifications. Let's absolutely get into this. All right, Exhibit A, who is giving the evidence? Well, when you open TikTok and you type in mental health, you'll find millions of videos. But here's the kicker. Only a small percentage come from licensed professionals. And the rest? They are influencers. They're filming in their cars, guys, using self-diagnosing to come up with ADHD and BPD and CPTSD for you. Trends like things that mean you have anxiety, with 0 citations. You wouldn't take medical advice from someone with a ring light and a coffee in their passenger seat, would you? But when you're watching TikTok, it seems that is the norm. And the algorithm doesn't really care that it's not accurate. It doesn't care anymore. I can't tell you that enough. The information you are getting, you no longer can trust the platform you are using. It doesn't care. It cares if you're engaging. If that influencer can get you to engage and click and do anything, it's a win. So then what does rise to the top? All the drama, those confessions, right? The trauma dumping, which is not great for people experiencing trauma sometimes, right? It's all out there. Pathologizing normal human emotion. Exhibit B, why the brain loves labels. Part of why this works is really just simple psychology. I've talked about it. They're using it on us every single day. I mean, we all want clarity. And when someone says, hey, if you do X, Y, and Z, you might be bipolar, your brain goes, oh my gosh, that could be me. And all of a sudden, you might feel seen. You might feel explained. You might even feel relief. But the problem is diagnosis does not work that way, not online, not without context, and certainly not on TikTok in 30 seconds. A licensed therapist is going to spend weeks collecting clinical evidence. TikTok gives you a list with background music and a moody filter. And you think, hey, I connected. This must be my answer to your life. How about Exhibit C? What's going on with this in the real world? What's the fallout of all of this? I mean, doctors and therapists are now seeing a massive spike in teens and young adults that are now coming into offices that are very convinced they have these specific disorders based on what they've seen on TikTok. I mean, they're terrified. They don't want an assessment. What they're looking for when they go to these doctors is this right? Do I have this? Almost as if they want to be right. This is called, it has a name, take notice, cyberchondria. Okay, self-diagnosing off the internet. You know, it's always been a problem. The doctors always say, don't do it. And people still do it. And now it's exploding. People are really doing it. Some are actually demanding meds they don't even need. It's insane. Others are completely resisting treatment that doesn't match what their TikToker told them. So they're not getting the care they need. And a few have completely rejected professional help because some influencers said therapy is gaslighting. Unbelievable. How about Exhibit D? When struggle becomes a persona. Did you think of this? Have you maybe noticed it? And now maybe you can realize what you saw. I mean, the TikTok economy rewards identity, and that includes trauma content. I mean, if you make a video saying you have anxiety, guess what? That's relatable. But now if you say that you were misdiagnosed or misunderstood or mentally abused, well, that's big time, and that goes viral. The result? Well, mental health becomes a brand. Borderline becomes an aesthetic. Neurodivergent becomes a flex. Pain becomes monetized. And meanwhile, the people who are actually struggling, they're getting drowned out by the content that's catchy, but clinically hollow and actually dangerous. Let me break down the data here. Researchers reviewed 100 of the most viewed mental health tip videos, and over 50% contained misinformation. Only 9% referenced actual treatment or therapy options, and most lacked any source or any citation at all. And that's dangerous when you tell someone what they should do for something, and you could be wrong, especially when you're dealing with mental health. But nobody cares. If you're clicking and engaging and they're making money, that's great mental health for them. I mean, this is not self-help. It's not what self-help is supposed to be. In actuality, this is digital malpractice. But TikTok is not regulating it. The platforms just don't care. They're amplifying it actually because it's making money. Because mental health content is high performing, high share, high emotion. And on TikTok, we all know that's gold. I mean, the headline said, most TikTok mental health videos are misinformation. This is true, but it's leading to other headlines and misinformation. The real story is TikTok turned mental health into entertainment, and no one is regulating the fallout. And I don't know about you, but we're going to have to wait and see how this plays out around us in the real world. And this isn't just about mental illness, though. This is about algorithmic abuse. People are taking advantage of this where they can, where young people get sold crisis as an identity and diagnosis as a trend. And while therapists try to clean up the mess, those videos keep playing, keep reaching more young adults. In this courtroom with Alexis Knight, the diagnosis is very clear. The headline didn't lie, but it stopped a little short of the full truth, didn't it? All right, next up, the headline reads, How mainstream media kept falling for a fake image of Xi Jinping's daughter. Sometimes the lie does not start on purpose. It starts with a picture. A little too perfect, a little too viral, and way too convenient. For months, a photo of Xi Mingdi, daughter of Chinese President Xi Jinping, made the rounds across X, Reddit, and yes, mainstream outlets. It showed her walking confidently through what looked like a UN fashion summit. High heels, form-fitting gown, immaculate hair. A rare public appearance, they said. Except that it just wasn't. She was not there. She was not photographed. This image, my friends, was AI generated. But guess what? Mainstream media ran with it anyway. That's why I love headline lies, guys. They just ran with it anyway. And that's the real story, not the photo. This entire failure. Let's take a look at how a synthetic portrait slipped past the global press corps and what that says about who's really in control of the narrative we get fed all the time. Now, at first glance, this photo seemed normal enough. She, who is famously stayed out of public eye, she was shown smiling and confident, wearing a flowing lavender gown on a UN-branded carpet. The background had a subtle blur. The lighting felt cinematic. Her posture looked like something from Vogue China. But if you really took a look a lot closer, you would have seen the proportions are off. The lighting is way too uniform. The hand details, they kind of blur into the fabric. The image has zero traceable metadata. I mean, if you've spent more than a few minutes with generative tools like, Midjourney or DALL-E, it practically screams AI fabrication. And yet it was picked up by media around the entire world. Now, why is that? Well, it confirmed a fantasy. The mysterious daughter of a dictator steps into the spotlight. It's just a story to catch your attention, guys. It doesn't have to be true. I tell you this all the time. It was clickable, shareable, and what do I always say? It touched on those emotions. Just need one. It was emotional. And no one bothered to ask if it was real. And let's start naming some names right here, okay? Outlets in Europe, India, and the United States picked up this image. Some reported it as a rare appearance. Others even went further, framing it as a symbolic evolution of China's global image. And ran with captions that said, "Xi's daughter dazzles at international event." Xi Ming's breaks silence with fashion statement. I mean, this is incredible, guys. All completely fake. There was no event. There was no appearance. There was no statement. What you really should do is go look for this right now so you know what I'm talking about if you happen to miss it. You need to start teaching yourself. Use my episodes as education. This was just a synthetic image born on social media. As we see so often, people can take anyone and make them anything. They can put people together. They can change who you are. This was not misinformation. This was institutional laziness. And let's face it, greed. They click grabbed, didn't they? They click grabbed you and everyone else just to make a cheap buck, really, and spread a lie. They don't care if you know it's true. Your brain is expendable. That's really what it is. Doesn't matter what's in there. They just want you streaming, clicking, watching. That's it. Now let's track, though, how this happened, right? Because you wonder, how does this even happen? How does it get to us? Well, an AI image of the daughter was first posted on Chinese social media, possibly even as a satire, right? Just as satire, a fan art, or political bait even. It crossed into Western, X, and Telegram, where users began quoting it as leaked. A few bloggers ran with it, then mid-tier news aggregators, and from there, mainstream press ran summaries of the summaries. No original sourcing, no verification. That's all it took. That's all they care about. A fake photo became a global media moment because the systems in place are not designed to verify. They don't care if it's real. If you're interested and you look, that's all they care about. And they want it moving fast. And with all our clicks and shares, that stuff is in your box and out of there so fast. It's already done its job, and they're already feeding you a next one. But now let's zoom out. I mean, the media isn't just vulnerable to lies. It optimized this and spread it. Why would it do that? I can't say it enough. These fakes are more visual, more dramatic, more emotional, all the things. And truth, it's slow. It's too careful. Truth doesn't go viral in under 8 seconds. When AI content starts with realism all baked in, when it's photorealistic from the start, the odds are stacked against any clarity, especially when the subject is cloaked in mystery. I mean, this woman is one of the most protected and private figures in all of China. Who would even know in the world what's going on with her? There are barely any confirmed images of her at all in adulthood, but I'm sure we'll see more of them now. So when there is a new one, right, everyone wants it to be true. You want to go, ooh, look at that. I got to see something. But that's just a desire. That is your clickbait instinct, and they're playing on it. I mean, that's what AI eats for breakfast, guys. The headline really should have said, "Mysterious photo of Xi Jinping's daughter sparks media confusion." That's what it is. That is what happened. But instead, they want you to take it further, feel it more. Click, click, click. So we got confident declarations built on everything fake. That's what we got. This was not a mistake. I want to be clear. This was a perfect test on all of us, all of you, on how easily the actual mainstream media can be manipulated. And then they use it on you. So they're not saving you from it. They're using it on you. This is a complete media fail. Because the crime wasn't that someone made this image, it's that the professional newsroom didn't stop it for you, and you're trusting them. Every day at dinner, every morning, what? I mean, if they can't catch an obvious AI photo of the daughter of one of the most surveyed leaders in the entire world, then they sure as hell won't stop the next one, and they don't care. This image was fake. The reaction was real. That's all they care about. The trust? That's what got deepfaked. And just like that, we're on to the next one. Headline number 4 that said, AI-generated hurricane chaos sparks real confusion. Now, the storm wasn't real, but the panic was. In late 2024, during the peak of hurricane season, videos and images began to flood social media, showing absolute devastation. Flooded cities, collapsed highways, screaming families being airlifted from rooftops. One video showed a tornado forming over Miami with eerie realism. Another showed rescue helicopters dragging children from a school rooftop as waves crashed below. And another, shared thousands of times, showed a major oil rig exploding in the Gulf. And none of this happened, guys. But want to know how many people believed it? Millions. These weren't amateur fakes. These were AI-generated images and videos created with tools like Midjourney and Runway and early access versions of Google's VO. And the headlines, most of them never clarified the difference between real and fake. How nice for you. The storms that year, Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, they were real. What wasn't real is the scale of destruction that was portrayed online. And that sucks for all of you who were concerned and trying to find out what was going on. I mean, TikTok was flooded with videos that looked like drone footage over destroyed highways and submerged neighborhoods. The captions did not tell you they were fake. Instead, they said, "The media won't show you this," or "They're hiding how bad it really is." And another one, "This is what FEMA doesn't want you to see." I mean, these are all fake, everything about this. The goal was not to inform you. It was to manufacture distrust. And it worked. What made this all worse is how fast it all spread. This is before journalists or any agencies could even respond. NOAA officials had to repeatedly issue statements denying the footage. FEMA's press office had to respond to all the AI images, and entire Reddit threads had to be shut down. That's how bad this is. And if you think confusion is not a big problem, this is going to become a massive problem across the globe. I mean, once these images reach X, Telegram, and WhatsApp, etc., there is no pulling them back. The public does not wait for corrections. They spread, they consume, they eat it up. If it looks like a news clip and sounds like a disaster and plays like a crisis, it must be true, and it must be something we're involved in. We have to react. And when people see something horrifying, I mean, they react. This is human behavior. They don't sit and say, "Hey, is that real?" You know? But now we're going to have to imagine what that's going to do. And people are asking, why isn't anyone doing anything about this? They just aren't. And it gets worse, right? Because some news outlets use these clips as B-roll. They also do not verify. Okay? They're not verifying. Your major news outlet is not verifying. I know you trust them. They're not doing it. Not on everything. In a rush to publish, major outlets, they embedded TikTok or Instagram footage into articles about this storm's landfall. No disclaimers. No confirmations, just short lines like footage circulating online appears to show blah blah. They're not letting you know. We have no idea if this is real. They're saying, "Hey, look." And they're backing it, making you think it must be true. A word, right? It appears to show. That's all they need. It lets You say anything you want without really saying anything at all. That one word gave synthetic footage the weight of journalism, and it spread. This lie became the visual record when none of it was true. Let's talk about fallout. In multiple cities, now confirmed, emergency call centers had been overloaded by people reacting to these fake videos. See how this confusion is starting and what it's doing? A photo of a flooded hospital ER caused panic among families that had relatives inside. Can you imagine? Another footage showing fake looting at a supermarket led to actual store closures because of safety fears. And the biggest irony here, there was a real storm. And that can be how they get you. There were real people in real danger, but those trying to help could not get their real message out because fake content had hijacked the conversation. Are you following me yet? You know, this works because AI-generated disaster footage, it hits you at all the emotional triggers, right? It's visual trauma. It's implied as a cover-up, like you didn't get to see this. And it's very fast motion fear. You don't have time to think. And you're such a bad person if you don't react. This is how we're built. And the kicker, I mean, these clips, I mean, I have to say, guys, they were more polished than real footage. Real storms, they're chaotic. They have bad angles. They have shaky hands and really bad sound. We've all seen that stuff. But the AI storms, they're cinematic, they're stylized, they're optimized to impact you even harder. The algorithm pushes the fake because they're better. That's it. And once that loop starts, the truth doesn't just lose, it really disappears if there really was any truth at all. This one had a storm. Sometimes it has nothing at all. The headline said, social media awash in misinformation during hurricane season. True, but it led to so many other things. The real story here is AI-generated content is outpacing real disaster footage and creating crisis theater. That's what it should say. We're not just seeing fake news, guys. We are seeing synthetic disasters engineered to provoke fear and spark outrage and bury the real story under all the digital debris. That is what we're ending up with. Weather becomes viral content. Trauma becomes engagement. And when the media repeats it without thinking, I mean, that's not coverage. That is participation in the lie out of greed. Case closed. Let's keep going. How about this headline? Russian election interference goes AI native in 2024. They didn't hack the machines this time. They hacked your attention. In 2024, the U.S. election cycle, Russian interference did not come in the form of vote tampering or cyber attacks, like we were led to believe or not believe, right? This was definitely political theater here. Very confusing for the American voter. This did happen, Russian interference, and just so you know, everyone's always trying to interfere with everyone, so just the fact that Russia's doing it is no different than everyone else who's trying to do it. So let's not get all hyped up on our emotions because I said Russian interference. You know, you've been trained to react. Let's try to stop that. There was interference. This, though, came through AI-generated media and fake influencers and viral content designed to confuse and divide and destabilize all of us right on schedule. And the headlines, I mean, this has been proven. The headlines reported it like it was some kind of sequel to 2016. Same story, same playbook, the same vague warnings, but this was not a repeat, even though they probably led you to believe it was kind of like that, right? This wasn't a repeat. This was absolutely an upgrade. What Russia pulled off in 2024, not that long ago, right, was an entirely new model of interference. It was a lot smarter, a lot quieter, and far more effective. And the media barely kept up. How much of it did you hear about? In 2016, they used bots and sock puppet accounts to push memes and misinformation onto you. In 2020, they amplified existing divisions. using real Americans. But now in 2024, Russia used AI tools. But what did they do? Well, they generated fake news articles that looked very local to you. They created deep fake videos of candidates saying very inflammatory things when they never said them. They built entire personalities on TikTok and X, and guess what? None of these people are real. That's right. Your social media account is full of fake people. I'm just here to tell you that. These people weren't real, had thousands of followers. They used AI tools to flood private chat apps like WhatsApp and Telegram with AI-written insider reports. You might have thought you were getting all this cool information, but no, that wasn't it at all. No typos, no weird grammar, so you think, hey, this is legit. Clean, persuasive content tuned in to each targeted audience perfectly. This wasn't spam. This was tailored narrative warfare. I say it all the time, this narrative warfare. They're controlling what you think. It's not conspiracy. AI is real. This is real. Some of the most popular shared posts about voter suppression and immigrant crime and election fraud in swing states, they came from accounts that were later discovered to be completely fabricated. Did your news share that with you? Completely false. Generated faces, synthetic voices, AI-written backstories in their bios. The works, guys. They weren't stealing American identities. They were just manufacturing them, all on their own. And here's the kicker. Even after being banned, some of those accounts got recreated. They had slight variations, and so they were allowed back in, and they kept spreading those same talking points that probably hit you over and over again. Because the cost of building them is almost zero. They can use this over and over again as many times as they want to. The impact is massive. AI let Russian actors create highly specific, emotionally loaded content and drop it right into their target communities. Could have been you, could have been your mother, your brother. Examples, a fake video of a polling station in Arizona with a closed early sign on the door. Maybe an AI-generated audio of a Florida pastor urging congregants not to vote. Or a fabricated letter from a fake teacher warning parents about socialist curriculum linked to a candidate. All of it engineered to feel local and intimate and true to you. And the most disturbing part, some of it even ended up on real news broadcasts used by anchors, quoting viewer footage. You have to watch out for this stuff, guys. You cannot trust your newscaster. Maybe the weather. You can't trust anything you see. Viewer footage, is that a source? We have to expect better. I mean, using scraped data and open source voter records, Russian teams were able to use AI to identify emotional fault lines, customize misinformation for niche communities. They know exactly what they're doing, and you think someone's talking right to you. Seed those narratives in private spaces where moderation doesn't exist. Get in there. You think WhatsApp chats and local Facebook groups, Discord servers are off the table? No, they're right in all of that. The goal was not to convert any voters, it was to disorient them. The goal is to confuse all of us while everyone else is making money. If people feel overwhelmed and cynical or convinced that both sides are corrupt, they just disengage and don't want to be involved and don't vote at all. Maybe that happened to you. This is not a side effect. That was the objective, and if it happened to you, they got the job done. You know what most headlines said? They said, Russia attempts to interfere again in U.S. elections. Sounds like a nice warning for us, like, hey, we're on top of it, though, but guess what? I mean, attempts? They really use that word. Go look it up. They did not attempt anything. They executed. This is truth. And by the time the media noticed, of course, the damage was already distributed across tens of millions of devices. Some outlets acted like this was a story about cybersecurity. Trying to divert, it was not. This was a story about belief and how easily it can be manufactured. The headline said Russia interferes with U.S. election using AI. Okay, that's a truth. But there was so much more behind this that you needed to know. That's a passive version. The headline should have said, Russia rewrote the rules of influence, while the media used the same old vocabulary. They didn't need to crash systems. They don't need to breach firewalls. They just need to flood the timeline with realistic lies that get you to think whatever they want you to think and do whatever they want you to do. And if we keep calling it interference, come on, guys, we're missing the point. We need to get with the times. This was not outside meddling. This was a synthetic invasion of trust. And guess what? It totally worked. And all right, this headline is confusing on, I don't even know, you can count the levels. Here it is. Misinformation fuels measles surge amid vaccine fears. It sounds like stuff we're used to hearing, so we accept it and we go, okay. But this really tells us that it's just a rash, childhood illness, something we've already beaten. But now guess what? Measles is back. And the real infection isn't viral, it's ideological. Okay, in early 2025, cases of measles surged across multiple states, breaking containment in schools, districts, daycare centers, and even hospitals. But this wasn't a medical failure. This was a media failure. Because behind every new outbreak, there was a stream of misinformation, half-truths, viral videos, and dangerous claims being shared like gospel. And the headline? Misinformation fueling measles surge. It's not wrong, but if you can see my theme today, it's not really right either. This headline is incomplete. Let's unpack how it spread and who helped spread this. Let's start with the facts. The United States saw a 300% increase in measles cases in the first 3 months of 2025. Now, before you go nuts with that number, you don't even know how many people got the measles or what that means, because we had this thing licked. So 300%? Okay. Most of those cases, they were in communities with low vaccine rates. In surveys conducted in March, nearly 1 in 4 parents said they believed the MMR vaccine, the measles, mumps, rubella, they could cause autism, a theory that was debunked over a decade ago. But it's back. Now, why is it back? Well, content doesn't need to be accurate to go viral. What does it need to do? It needs to hit an emotion. Fear here. It just needs to kind of feel like a secret that someone doesn't want you to know, so you end up feeling lucky that you got the info so you can act immediately. Oh, so lucky. TikTok, Telegram, Facebook, YouTube. That's where the real epidemic was, guys. Influencers with no medical background were using hashtags like VaxTruth and Heal Your Kids to peddle claims like measles isn't dangerous unless you're unhealthy, or the vaccine is worse than the disease. Big Pharma's hiding the real data. Some videos were filmed in minivans. Others did look like medical lectures, but all of them looked authentic. But they were all built to mislead you. And the platforms, they weren't just letting it happen, they were amplifying it. And why is that, guys? Are we learning yet? Because the clicks make the dollar. For the platforms, especially. At the center of this outbreak, it's not a virus, it's a collapse in trust. For decades, vaccines were one of the few things we all could agree on, science-backed, community-driven, and life-saving. But now we've got politicians and podcasters and influencers treating vaccine doubt like it's, some kind of personal brand. We're talking about health, everyone. And people, especially overwhelmed parents, are looking for answers that feel simple. So when a confident voice says, you don't need that shot, just use supplements and hey, go detox. It's easier to them sometimes than trying to believe a CDC PDF. It's not stupidity. This is fear meeting storytelling, and the storytelling is winning. It's not just random influencers anymore either. Some of the loudest voices pushing anti-MMR narratives in 25 are former wellness bloggers. They've now turned full-time contrarians. Natural health channels are now monetizing fear with supplements and detox kits. Don't fall for this, guys. Political grifters exploiting vaccine narratives for cultural clout. And one particular figure now in the public health spotlight has publicly walked the line between pro-vaccine statements and conspiratorial vagueness. They'll say, I'm not anti-vax, I'm just asking questions. But those questions always point the same way if you notice. They point toward doubt and panic and inaction. I mean, they're confusing the heck out of everyone out there on things that used to work fine. We're playing with our kids' health here. In several outbreaks this year, infants too young for vaccination ended up hospitalized. They didn't get a choice. They relied on herd immunity, on the community around them. But thanks to viral content, that shield is broken. And while creators rake in likes and revenue, pediatric ERs are filling up, guys, with coughing, feverish, highly contagious children. Not awesome. The parents are confused. This isn't theory. I'm not telling you something that I think is going to happen or maybe could happen. This is happening, whether you want to believe me or not. It's the predictable result of letting misinformation become a lifestyle brand. We're moving, we're eating, we're living, we're talking, we're making friends, all on what is being told to us online and with the things online. Not even real people anymore. The headline read, Misinformation Fueling Measles Surge. Again, okay, but it's too soft, it's too distant for you to get the truth. Here's the version this courtroom recognizes. Influencers, algorithms, and opportunists broke public trust, and now kids are paying the price. That's the headline. This wasn't a medical failure. It wasn't a communication crime. And the weapon was not a virus. It was TikTok with 2 million views, filmed in someone's kitchen, telling you not to trust your pediatrician, someone who went to the school for years, has a degree, is credited. But no. Listen to TikTok. We don't have a measles problem, okay? We will. What we have is a truth problem. And it is spreading, and we need to stop that before we end up with a million other problems beyond the measles. Just imagine. Moving on. Headline number 7. AI robocalls impersonate Biden, and nobody knows what's real anymore. That's a real headline. On the eve of a critical state primary, thousands of voters in New Hampshire received this robocall. Now, I know this is older, but you just got to take a look at this. The voice was unmistakable. It was President Joe Biden telling Democrats not to vote. You might have heard of me talking about this before, but this one deserves attention because we all get those calls. We're all getting those texts, and you need to be careful. So I wanted to bring this one up again. I mean, he did not sound sick. He did not sound confused. He sounded calm, clear, and authoritative. This was completely fake. A fake call from your president, generated by AI, disguised as real, and delivered directly into voters' ears without warning and without consent to be AI'd. The headlines called it a prank. Can you believe this? Election interference? Troubling? I mean, this is the stuff they're calling this. This is illegal to impersonate someone. Why does AI get away with it? This is proof of concept for chaos. That's what this is. The robocall did not insult anyone. It didn't make any wild claims, and that's what made it so believable. Instead, it said, it's important that you save your vote for the November election. Voting this Tuesday only helps Republicans. This is what the call said. Again, like the Russian interference, it's telling people not to vote. Interesting trend. This sounded like something Biden might say at a closed-door DNC meeting. Not something that he'd really released to the public, though. But people didn't realize that. You got to think, guys. Put that thinking cap on. I can't say it enough. This was something that people accepted immediately, and it made it very dangerous. The audio was timed, it was toned, it was scripted, all done so that you would believe it. And that's the new face of deception. It's not loud, it's just plausible. The consultant behind the robocall used a free or even low-cost cloning service for the voice. I mean, it's so easy these days. No clearance, no license, no special access, just clone your president. Just type the words selected Biden, press generate, and boom, an instant deep fake president. I can't even believe this is not regulated. And America needs to be screaming about this, guys. This is all going to end badly. This voice model even replicated cadence and how Biden pauses. It used political language in the tone of someone who's been in front of a mic for 50 years. I mean, this isn't 2030 tech. This is right now. It's accessible to anyone, like you even, with a laptop and a motive. I want you to think of AI as intent, because it's whoever is behind it, what is their intent? Because that is what AI is doing to you, whatever they want it to do. And here's the damage that happened with this. I mean, voters were completely confused. Turnout was absolutely affected in at least 2 counties. Some elderly voters did not show up because they believed it was real. They believed they were doing the right thing. And here's the even more chilling part. It got debunked, but even after it was debunked, people had a hard time believing it because they're counting on themselves. You feel like you're almost betraying yourself if you believed something that was fake, but get used to it, guys. Accept the fact that you might believe it because it happens all the time. It's happening right now. I mean, people did not need the proof here. They accepted it right away because, of course, we would. But that's what I'm trying to educate you on. We cannot do that anymore. In this case, the idea was able to plant, and that's all that was needed. Hey, this is Biden calling me. Boom. That's the power of synthetic audio. It bypasses your logic, it goes straight to recognition, and then it just works. The consultant behind the call was charged in this case. But guess what? Not for identity theft, even though they impersonated a president. He was charged under the obscure robocall laws and possible election tampering. Why? Well, I can't say this enough either. There are no clear laws. Okay? We don't have laws around AI. There's no federal laws yet for impersonating a public figure using AI. You're free to be, guys. Go ahead. This gap is not a bug either. This is vulnerability, and it's okayed by all. The people who understand it, they're already testing the limits. And the message is clear. You don't need to change the vote. You just need to create enough confusion to make voters stay home. Do you see how this works? People throw up their hands and say, I just won't vote at all. This whole thing is a mess. I am sick of this BS. And they think they're doing something good for themselves. The trick has already worked. If you are someone that cares about your country and wants to vote and threw up your hands because you thought this is too full of it for me to care, maybe that's what happened to you. It's going to be hard to admit. I realize. The headline said, AI Biden robocalls spark election concerns. Sure, but that headline is way too late. The truth is, the headline should have said, AI voice cloning now allows anyone to impersonate power. And guess what? We have no plan for what happens next. I'm serious, guys. We're going right into the Wild West here in a digital version, and it's going to get ugly. This call was not a stunt. It created a blueprint. Kind of like how COVID created a blueprint on all of us to behave. Here's this blueprint. And if you think it ends with Biden's voice, you haven't really been listening. All I can do is lay this out for you. The next time you hear a voice on your phone that sounds like your senator or your mayor or even your doctor or your boss, by the time you ask, Hey, was that really them? Did I just talk to my boss? You already had believed it, and what they did is already done. All right, let's do this. Headline number 8. It reads, AI hug and kiss apps spark consent backlash. They say it's harmless. A little virtual affection. A comfort tool. But the new wave of AI apps that let you generate images or videos of yourself hugging or kissing someone else, it's not about comfort. It's about control and consent. And just how far people are willing to go when fantasy becomes frictionless. Because these apps aren't just popular, they are profitable and completely unregulated. There is so much unregulated stuff happening right now. This is an America I have never seen before, and it was bad to begin with. I mean, here you upload a photo of someone, anyone. Maybe it's your ex. Maybe it's your celebrity crush. Maybe someone who never gave you permission. And in seconds, the app gives you a clip of that person smiling as you kiss them or gently hugging you in the rain. The headline called it a trend. But what it really is, it's a consent crisis wrapped in code. I mean, this thing is nuts. Most of them are simple to use if you're interested. Upload a selfie or photo of someone else. Choose a template, a hug, kiss, maybe the template laughing together, and generate a short video or an animation. The result looks like a memory, a scene from your past, like something that really happened, except that it did not. You imagined it, the app rendered it, and now it's yours to save, share, or weaponize. Live in a fake reality? I don't know. These apps market themselves as comfort tools for breakups and grief and anxiety. And for some, that could be true. But it's already being misused because, like the humans we are, that's what happens. Someone takes it and runs it into I don't know what. Exes generating romantic moments that never even occurred. Does the term stalker come to mind here? Which is very dangerous. This kind of thing can bring out feelings that someone may not be able to control. Stalkers using selfies to create proof of a relationship, can you imagine? Strangers using public photos of influencers to simulate intimacy. Imagine what that's going to do to someone already obsessed with an influencer. It's going to take them to a whole new level, and it's unregulated. No laws around this, no protections. And once that content exists, there's no consent form, no alert, no takedown system that works fast enough to matter. Again, we're in a culture where it does not matter. This isn't deepfake porn. This is deepfake emotion, and it's more dangerous because it sort of feels safe. You feel like you're not doing anything wrong, but it's messing with your head. It's messing with things. These videos don't have to be explicit, and they aren't. They're sweet. They're wholesome. They are feel good. But make no mistake, this is still a breach, and everything goes to new levels, doesn't it? This will become even worse. It is an invasion. It's a violation of someone's image, someone else's identity and their dignity. The apps claim it's just AI. This isn't real. But what happens when it feels real enough to someone to fuel their obsession? Or to convince someone a relationship existed when it never did? That's no longer fantasy. That is fabrication. And we have enough of that in our world. Fabrication has consequences, and we are going to see the consequences of this, guaranteed. And no one's regulating this. These apps are not classified as adult content, by the way, so check your children. If you know anyone with kids, tell them about this. They're not blocked on app stores. They use vague disclaimers like, please only upload content you have the rights to. Yes, people are going to totally obey that. There's no identity verification, no safeguards, no limits, guys. And while lawmakers are busy trying to ban TikTok, this category of AI exploitation is growing, and it is unchecked. Because it doesn't look like a threat. It looks like love. It's not love, it's digital. But it looks like something people want, and that's what makes it so effective. It's going to be very hard to regulate. The headline said, AI hug and kiss apps spark backlash over consent. True. But that's not the real problem here, is it? This is a full-scale collapse of boundaries. This should have said, we've crossed into synthetic intimacy, and we don't know how to say no to it. If someone made a video of you hugging them and smiling at them and looking into their eyes, and they used it to convince others, maybe even themselves, that it meant something, like, I was with this person, look how much they care about me. If you didn't want to be with that person, would you want that pulled down, you with someone else that you didn't want to be with, that could cause your life major problems? Now imagine the whole internet is doing this at scale for fun. That's not harmless. That's theft of your face, your body, and your presence, and it's already causing major problems for people trying to defend themselves, saying, that wasn't me, that isn't me, I wasn't there, I didn't do that. People are dealing with this problem that's happening to them, and what's happening to them is legal. And it's trending. How fun, and it's coming to your phone, so look out. And so here we are. The 8 stories, the 8 illusions, 8 headlines that didn't just mislead or not tell you everything, they manipulated. And if you are listening, this is not just news. This is a reality check. Because the truth is, reality is not regulated anymore. There is no filter. There's no referee. There's no off switch. Not on the apps your kids are scrolling. Not on the headlines your family is sharing. Not in the voices, faces, and images you are starting to believe before you even ask if they are real. And that is the part no one is saying out loud. Reality itself is now a product. It's editable, shapeable, falsifiable, and you are the one responsible for protecting your own mind from it. This is not paranoia, it is posture. You have to start looking at the world with eyes wide open. Not cynical, just sharp. Not afraid, just ready. Because your perception, your ability to know what is real, that's the last defense we've got, guys. So take care of it. Guard it. Teach your kids to question everything that's packaged like truth, but delivered like dopamine. And when the next shiny headline flashes across your feed, ask yourself, who wrote this? Who benefits from me believing it? Is it causing confusion? What am I not seeing because I'm seeing this? Okay, because at the end of the day, the lies do not need you to agree with them. They just need you to be too tired of the fight. But you are not tired because you are here listening, and that means you're already ahead of the game. You have a chance. Stay with it, guys. Stay on it. This is Headline Lies. I'm Alexis Knight. Stay safe out there, guys. Ask the difficult questions and always demand the truth. See the lie, break the illusion, and whatever you do, don't look away. And I'll talk to you guys the next time.